Welcome to another episode of Golf Shop After Dark. I'm your host, Daniel Sherino. I got a solo episode today. It's been a wild few weeks. We obviously didn't have a couple episodes come out. We had Thanksgiving holiday, which was great. Hopefully everyone else's was pretty good too. We just went over to some friends' house, celebrated with them. It was kind of a low-key night, which is always nice in the holidays. You get to relax. Hopefully you guys had good holidays. If you had anything funny happen, let us know. So the other reason why I haven't had any episodes come out lately is Jackie and I's dog has been in the ER for 4 days in a row now, or 3 days in a row, and another day last week. So I've been in the ER twice, trying to figure out what's wrong with him. He had, if anybody knows any dog stuff, leave some comments. He had back pain. He spiked a fever, loss of appetite. Then he was in the hospital, and they got rid of the fever, and they said he ate a little bit, and so he came home, and trying to give pills to a dog that doesn't want to really eat is a struggle. So we were chasing him around. It was World War III pretty much, and eventually still had back pain, didn't want to eat again, didn't want to take his medicine. Back right leg was hurting him, and he wasn't wanting to use it. And then eventually his neck. So we brought him back to the ER, had another fever, and they decided to do a spinal tap. So they had to put him under anesthesia, do a spinal tap, did a joint tap because his joints were hurting him. And his liver, I think liver enzymes, however you say it, were elevated as well. So the poor guy is having a slew of issues. But the latest update last night was that he doesn't have a fever anymore. That broke. Is eating, doesn't need the nausea medicine anymore. His liver enzymes or levels were coming down, and he had white blood cell, or he had he had proteins in his spinal tap, but they needed to have him checked out. So in the next few days, we will see if he has meningitis or something. So poor guy has been hurt for a while, and we've been dealing with him day in and day out. So we're back. One of the reasons I wanted to make this podcast was to shine a little light on myself and others in the golf industry, to show you us outside of teaching every day, or behind the counter in the golf shop, or helping you get clubs or whatever. Just show you a little different side of the club professional, other interests we have, who we are, have some fun on the podcast, have some guests, rather than just be all golf instruction all the time, 24/7. And yes, we will talk a lot of golf on here, but there's a lot of other topics that will come up, that have come up in the prior episodes, which I'm grateful for all the guests who've already come on, like my buddy Brad and Henry sharing his story, which is a very interesting story. And I'm sure if you followed along, you've listened to his episodes. But trying to help him out and navigate his injuries and um, just honestly uh, teach him and form a golf swing that he can be successful with. It's been really cool, and obviously Billy's done a ton with Henry as well. I'm kind of just stepping in a little later now, but it's been cool. And if anyone has any suggestions for Henry, anything to try out, any advice for him, leave them in the comments because we'll try them. Um, but yeah, so the past few weeks have been really busy, and we're kind of starting to get settled back in. And you can see, obviously, my wife does a heck of a job decorating our house and for Christmas. So we celebrate Christmas and we go home to Syracuse, where I'm from, every year. And we celebrate with my family. But we still put up all our stuff here and wrap presents for everybody and keep them under our tree here. Um, and she always gets it up just a little before Thanksgiving, which, in my opinion, is a little early. The debate is out there. When do you put up your tree? I think the day after Thanksgiving. Um, I let it slide because we go home for Christmas for about 7 to 10 days anyway, so she loses the time here with it. So I let her put it up early. Um, so I think she she runs the house. But we have so many ornaments now that of people have been sending us because it's our first Christmas as husband and wife. So thank you for that. And we try and get an ornament every year. Um, like one of us gets an ornament for the other one. Mine was I got a great picture of Cooper, our dog that somebody digitized and put on, and so she's got this house looking ready for Christmas and the holiday season. Um, it's actually a nice time of year for us golf pros who don't go south. Um, we get a nice little slowdown, get a chance to catch our breath after a fast, busy season all year. Um, 6 days a week, long, long hours, and so it's nice to catch our breath. I still teach 3 days a week, and it's nice to still stay sharp, still help people, still be involved with my students, but also have a little downtime, get a chance to actually be home with Jackie and do some stuff around the house, so she's not doing it all alone. Um, but yeah, it's nice to have the winter season here. This winter already had some awesome golf news in the golf world. As a fan of golf, not just a teacher and everything, Tiger Woods played this past weekend in the Hero World Challenge, I think it was. Um, and it was just awesome to see him out playing again. I mean, growing up, watching him play and dominate was just something out of this world. Um, the level of domination, how good he was in every facet of the game. And I know he's had all his troubles and then all his injuries, but it's just as a golf fan, it is awesome to see him back out there and playing and competing. Um, so I'm looking forward to the Masters because the guy always plays well there. He knows that course like the back of his hand, and you never know. I mean, he was hitting the ball long. He was crushing it, and hopefully we can see a little magic at Augusta or any of the majors. Hopefully coming up in the new year, and see him become the leader in wins in on the PGA Tour, and um, get one more major closer to Nicholas. Um, but it was awesome, and hopefully everyone else had a chance to watch. So that was incredible. The other golf news that happened that is sparking a huge debate that just came out this past week was a report that the USGA and R&A are going to roll back the ball. And I know everyone is freaking out about it and um, really mad and frustrated. Obviously, I don't want to see people get shorter, the average player get shorter. And honestly, I like to see the tour players when I go to an event hit it miles, and the college kids. It's fun to see. Um, but on the flip side, I can see why they want to do it because golf courses in general, especially a lot of old school courses, don't have the space to keep backing up and making new tee boxes and making courses longer. They just don't. And in order to make, in order to have a, you don't have to have a long golf course to make a tough test. And it's, I get why they're wanting to do it. Um, they're trying to make it, they're trying to make golf be more skill based instead of just bombing it down there and chipping it on. Plus, the architects, or not the architects, but the golf course architecture only has so far they can go. Um, and to be honest, when I was reading it and I was seeing some other comments, I don't believe the average player is going to see that much loss in yardage compared to some of the tour players. I mean, it's only for the faster swing speed players. They'll see the biggest. The average might see 5 yards. Um, but what would be nice is if they uh, went back to maybe a little smaller drivers, a little less forgiving drivers, so that it takes some more skill. But then again, I don't want to lose that forgiveness for the average player. So if it ends up truly being just a few yards giving up for the average player, and we don't have to keep backing these golf courses up for the tour and for other people, and they can still make tough tests. Other golf courses can see championships, and that would be fun. Um, gosh, I know a lot of the tour events are, they're not always the best. They're not just the best courses in the country. They're also the properties that have open spaces for fans and logistical reasons of having grandstands and all these things. Skokie Country Club had the U.S. Open in the 1920s, I think, and that golf course would still be phenomenal to have a U.S. Open, but logistically, they don't have room for a range, for all the tour vans, for all that, for everything. It's just would never happen. But it'd be cool if they came back. Uh, so that's a those two golf world news updates were exciting. Um, so at least there's something on the horizon that could happen with this ball next year, and something that could happen with Tiger next year. So it's gonna keep me glued to the TV. The other thing in the winter that I look forward to, uh, the most is hockey season. And so I know Billy and I briefly touched on that in the first episode towards the end. But if anyone's a hockey fan, uh, leave a comment and about anything, about who your favorite team is, things that are happening in the league this year. Um, it is one of the best sports to go watch live. And it is fun being able to go to the United Center here in Chicago. Um, Not a Chicago Blackhawks fan. I am a Buffalo Sabres fan, which they are breaking my heart again this year, which they have since 2011, sadly. Um, they have such promising prospects and players, and for some reason, just are not getting it done and giving up so many goals. I was just looking at the standings. I think we're second from the bottom right now, or potentially the worst team in the league, um, which I don't get it. Something has to break. Something has to change. Um, and I just miss those years of Ryan Miller, Thomas Vanek, Derek Roy, Pominville, Afenaganoff. I mean, Brian Campbell, Ryan Miller. I mean, just the 06-07 seasons were just incredible. I just want to get back there. And the Bills are struggling this year too. It's been a tough time in Buffalo. Um, so hopefully things turn around. I mean, if either of those teams win a championship, I will be going crazy. I will be going to the parades. You guys will see me going nuts. And I mean, the only team, the Braves, I am a Atlanta Braves fan. So I try and catch their game when they come to play the Cubs every year. And they won the World Series 2 years ago, which was awesome. And they have a killer team. I can't believe they got knocked out early this year with the amount of offensive talent we had. Um, so I did get a chance to see them. But other than that, the only other championship I remember is the Syracuse Orange basketball team in 2003 with Carmelo Anthony and Jerry McNamara, Hakeem Warwick. Um, that was exciting. I think I was 10 years old when they won that. So I'm on the struggle bus with my sports teams for years and years, as I'm sure a lot of you Chicago fans are and have been for a while. Um, I feel your pain, but yeah, the back to hockey. Um, Watching this new kid Connor Bedard in Chicago is unbelievable. The kid is filthy with his wrist shot, um, and that'll be awesome to see him develop and watch just the unbelievable talent he has. Just hopefully they don't pull Edmonton Oilers with McDavid, because I cannot believe with McDavid and Draisaitl they have not been able to get it done in Edmonton. And all the number one picks they've been able to have over the years, it's unbelievable. I know Brad was on the podcast a couple episodes ago. I know he and I share that same thought of how can you have so many number one picks bunched up together in like a 5 year stretch and just not produce. I think they made the playoffs like twice or something like that with Connor McDavid. Don't quote me on that, but I just it's unbelievable. Um, it's amazing actually that all the places I've lived So I grew up in New York, went to college in New York. I did an internship in South Carolina, did an internship in North Carolina, did an internship in Massachusetts. So I've lived in all those states. Moved back to South Carolina, lived in Georgia, back to New York, out to Arizona in the winters, and now Illinois. And so I've got I've when I was in Arizona, I've seen the Coyotes play in their stadium. Uh, got to see, obviously, in New York, I've seen Buffalo, been to United Center. I really want to get to see a lot of the cool arenas in this country. If anyone has any suggestions on where to go next, I think one of the cool places would be to see a game in Montreal, even though they're some of the hated enemies. That in Toronto. I was actually across the street from um, I forget what the Rogers Center, maybe what they call it in Toronto. I was across the street when my brother's bachelor party was in Toronto. Um, that place was packed to the gills. Obviously, they love their hockey, but been to some baseball stadiums. Um, need to keep adding to my list. So need to figure out where to go next. Been baseball. Sadly, I've only been limited to just the. I've been to Wrigley. I've been to Guaranteed Rate for the White Sox. Been to some minor leagues down in South Carolina and Georgia. Minor league team in Syracuse. I need to see some other ballparks. I haven't even seen the Atlanta Braves before they went from Turner Field to their new field. Um, I hear it's incredible. My cousin went to, I think, a playoff game or two playoff games a couple years ago, or 3 years ago maybe, and said it was unreal. So whoever else does that and sees different stadiums, let me know what your favorite is, because I it's definitely on my bucket list. Jackie and I actually have I don't know where it is right now, but we have a map of the United States of every state we've been in. So we're trying to fill that up and travel. We're really big into traveling. We've actually been to two places in Mexico, been to Jamaica, we've been to Quebec City together, um, and obviously some places in the States. And so we love to travel. Um, we were actually just talking last night with some of my coworkers about places to travel in Europe. Because somebody just got back from, I think, Copenhagen. So we actually want to see some places in Europe. And so if anyone else, again, has more suggestions on where to go or what time of year to go and what to see and what to do, we would love to hear it. I've suggested, which I have on my bucket list, one year I want to do Christmas in the Swiss Alps. I just want to see the Alps with all its snow during Christmas time. Um, just one of the things on my bucket list. So hopefully one year we'll do that. And obviously we'll have to ski um, while we're there. But yeah, that's definitely on our list. Um, so yeah, if anyone has suggestions on where to go and what to do, we'd love to hear it. But the rest of this winter, hopefully everyone else is getting ready for the following season in golf and working out, or if you're in a warm place, keep working on your game. Personally, I'm working on my game in my simulator, doing my speed training, which I'll have a video coming out this month. Working out with the guys at Meca, which is in Northfield. If anybody needs a trainer, um, it's the word trainer isn't even um, doesn't even make sense for them because it's more than just training. It's lifestyle stuff. It's it's also rehab stuff. They wear a lot of hats, even though it is a gym that is just for private training. And I work out with James there, and it's incredible. The stuff I'm learning and what I'm doing to get my body healthy. I've had a nagging shoulder injury for a long time, and I can already tell things are starting to turn the corner after about a month and a weekend. Um, and so it's really exciting, and they do everything so specific in the having the form be so specific that it targets all the right muscles, and it's really cool. I'm sure some of you have trainers or go to places and work with somebody, and you know how great it is, but I've kind of lacked in that category for a lot of years. So it's nice to be back on the horse with that, and working out and getting my body in shape and getting better. Because hopefully, you know, if all goes well, hopefully I'll have kids with Jackie sooner rather than later, and I need my body to be healthy and not be aching trying to play with kids on the ground or running around the yard or doing whatever. Not going to be that dad one day that's just in pain and can't do anything. So that's been great. But um, keep looking here for some more episodes. We're gonna have more people on. Like I said, I know getting through the holidays is a little tricky, getting schedules figured out, and especially with my dog, trying to get him figured out. But we'll have some more guests. We'll have some more fun on the podcast, get to know us a little more. If you have any topics or anything you want us to cover, even if it is related to golf, happy to do it. But just a place to get to know us and have some fun. So hope you guys have a good holiday, and we'll see you soon.